Hi, you all, it's Jenny, and I'm coming with an update on my HCG journey and information I learned on general dieting behaviors and patterns in general, which is what we're kind of talking about today, and we have been for like the past week. Okay, hope my dancing stars are not too distracting for you. This was my reward in my last class to my kids, and I just thought it was happy, and we could always use a little happiness, right? Yes, yes, yes. All right. Still haven't gotten my scale. Um, but I guess I did order it just a couple days ago and it was over the weekend. So it's coming through Amazon, so it shouldn't be too long. Let's see here. I got on the scale, it said I lost 1.3. Yesterday it said I gained 1.2. So I feel like my scale is not really reliable. That being said, it does over the past 2 days put me down point 0.1. Makes me lose 0.001 per day for the last 2 days. Not great, not great. But it's not going up, right? It's not going up. So I'm just going to take it and I'm going to stay with the program. I will tell you that yesterday I was very cognizant of making sure that I took my drops morning, noon, and night. And my gosh, does it make a difference. As soon as I thought about starting to eat, and it was like 11 o'clock in the middle of the day, I went, oh, drops first, took my drops, didn't even think about food again until about 2:30, at which point I got distracted doing something else, and before I knew it, it was 4 o'clock. And that's when I ate my chicken tortilla. And I did have one more of these because I just really wanted something kind of sweet and just kind of something different. I should look at the calories and see how close in calories this is to just having another chicken taco, which I obviously would be much more satisfying and much more appropriate. But these keto friendly 1 gram of sugar chocolate almond fudge snack bars don't have a whole lot of flavor. I don't know how they manage to not, like, why, with all the artificial sweeteners that we have, can't you add that to the cocoa and make it taste sweeter? Like, it tastes not really bitter, but you know how, like, the less, um, the higher percentage of cocoa that are in things, the less sweet it tastes. That's kind of what this tastes like a little bit, but not quite like that because those eventually start to taste really bitter to me. This doesn't taste bitter, but it just sort of tastes okay. Like there's a hint of chocolate, and then every now and then there's a tiny little piece of an almond that you get for a little bit of a crunch, which is kind of nice. But yeah, not anything phenomenal. Yeah. I was just looking on the back of the box. They have three options, but the other two do not look like they're even close to being uh, carb friendly. Um, for Mother's Day, one of my children got me one of my favorites, and I'm not going to have this while I'm still on keto, but I will just tell you that if I had an ultimate indulgence, this would be it. And it's often not in grocery stores, so I think a lot of people like them, that they're out. It's Atkins. So it has 1 gram of sugar and 2 net carbs. Oh, I didn't realize it had 1 gram of sugar and 2 net carbs and only 170 calories. How do they figure 2 net carbs when there's 19 carbohydrates and 9 grams of fiber? See, to me that would be 10 net carbs. Sugar alcohol is 8. I think there's something to do with that. I think you can also subtract sugar alcohols. But I'm going to have to look into that, and I don't know. It just feels like too much of a cheat because let me tell you, these taste good. These taste good. These taste like a Mounds bar, which is like one of my ultimate favorite candy bars. That's what this is. It's like a good version of a Mounds bar. And they're so expensive. There's only 5 of them in here. This is like, I don't know, $3, $3.50. It's crazy. Maybe it's even more than that. I don't know. I feel like I just remember thinking, like, really for 5? But oh, so good. Like maybe if I do really good and I hit my goal and I want to keep losing a little bit more. And by goal, I mean like my short-term goal. I'll reward myself with one of those. All right, so let's get going. I should really compare that though. I'm going to do some research. Let me write myself a note here. I'm going to type it here. Sugar alcohols. And I'm going to do some research on that because I had forgotten about that. And how I do believe that that's how they got the number down. When I looked at it yesterday before I almost took it, I just saw 19 and 9 and thought, ooh, 10 grams of carbs, no. And just dismissed it and went with the other one. But all things being equal, if truly sugar alcohols work in the same way as fiber does in terms of subtracting, in terms of net carbs, which is what it shows on the front of the box, we'll see. We'll see. I got to do a little deep dive into that, folks. Okay, so, all right, so where am I? I am still point 0.1 away from hitting the same weight loss I was at the end of my round 1, which is unfortunate because we're 12 days in. Here's the upside. Had I not been on HCG for these last 12 days, my weight would be at least 10 pounds higher than it is right now. I know that for a fact. So I'm just going to celebrate the fact that I'm sticking with it. I'm staying on the plan. Obviously, in my first 12 days, let's go back and look at day 12 on this diet. Day 12 on this diet, I had lost 9.5 pounds. Day 12 on round 2, I am negative 0.1. From the beginning of I'm negative 0.1 from where I left off at the other thing. So all in all, in the whole, if I add round 1 and round 2 together, I am negative 17.7 pounds. So you know what? That's fine. Because I lost 17.8 in the first round. And then gained. And then lost, but kind of went up and down in my losing in this round. So, but that's okay because I'm losing and kind of figuring it out and going down again. That's what we need to do. We need to celebrate every little thing, right? I'm not going to get too down on myself. I'm not. And part of the reason I'm not too is because I was able to put my bathing suit on when I was at the water park, and the shorts fit okay. There was a time when I could not get that Velcro to stay closed on the shorts, and it did stay closed. I did notice at the end of the day, or halfway through the day, long story, we didn't go to the water park. We went with our bathing suits on and clothes over, and then for some reason they decided to push the water park opening for another week. So we were in the park all day. So halfway through the day, we went back to the car and had something to eat. We also changed out of the bathing suits into normal clothes, just because they're not as comfortable underneath your clothes. And it was a little bit, it was only like 74 degrees or something like that, but the humidity was like 86. So it still felt warm, especially when the sun was shining. So we got out of that closed, confined bathing suits underneath. It was so much nicer for the second half of the day. And when doing that, I noticed that the fly was open. So then I started thinking, have I been walking around with this fly open? I think I had a t-shirt long enough to cover it, over it, but I think I did. But who knows with the different ways I moved and got in and out of things if they saw. Anyway, it has like a bathing suit bottom underneath. It's not like they saw anything. But yeah, when I saw that, I was a little discouraged because I thought, oh, is this how they fit that last time? I thought they didn't fit well. I thought that I couldn't get them on at all. But anyway, I'm on my way. There was a time 17.7 pounds ago that I would not have been able to get these on at all. So that's what I'm celebrating. I am also able to put on a few t-shirts that are not extra, extra large t-shirts. I can put on a large t-shirt and it looks nice and roomy and comfy. A large t-shirt before made me feel like I was more of a sausage in its casing. Now they're roomy. So my goal is to fit into my mediums. That would be nice. Not like a sausage in its casing in my mediums, but to fit into my mediums and have them feel like they should. So let's keep going. Okay. Too much chattering. Sorry. All right, so we are talking about, we're on reasons number 5, ways to overcome the fear of wasting food. Any of you that have that fear of wasting food and have a hard time throwing food away, I will tell you along with this, I saw a video once of a girlfriend of mine who was going on a health kick and starting this health journey, and she was doing this live video or whatever on Facebook. I clicked on it later and saw it, and she was saying like, we are getting help, we're going to do it the right way, we're going to eat like a healthy family, blah 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 blah, we're getting rid of everything that's bad. She went to her pantry and she was pulling out cake mixes, biscuit mixes, full jar of peanut butter, all this stuff, and putting it in this big trash bin. And I was just, it it made me so uncomfortable just to even watch it. I'm like, all that food you're throwing away. And all I kept thinking about is like, just eat it up and then start your journey. Why are you throwing that all away? Like, it still gives me the quivers to think about it. It really does. So I struggle with this category significantly. I really do. I really do. Still now, even though we're reading through this and I'm trying to learn that putting it in my body is waste, is like putting it in a trash can as well. Now, this is how I would justify it though. Well, yes, when you put it in when you don't need it, but if you haven't really eaten that day and you're putting peanut butter, even though you're trying to get rid of peanut butter because it has sugar, so you're going to go to all natural or just, 100% ground peanut butter, I get that. But what I would say is, for the next week, I'm going to get some celery sticks and I'm going to put this peanut butter on it, and that's going to be my treat. That'll be like my lunch, so it'll be my meal, so it's not a waste. That's how I would justify it. Still, now, even after reading through the things we've read through, as opposed to, oh, it's going to go to waste. I think I'm getting better in the mindset of realizing that when you're full, you need to stop, and everything else you eat beyond that is the same as throwing it into a trash can. I think I'm getting better with that. And if that's all I gain from these days of going over all the reasons why we have a hard time with wasting food, then I'm one step further ahead than I was before. If I can get to that other place, great. You know what? My husband's so frugal. I mean, he would never allow it. So that's partly why my brain is the way it is too. Is my whole childhood and how I was raised, and then I married somebody who is a conservative. Not a conservative. He's not a conservative. Is conservative when it comes to waste. He's a conservationist. There you go. That's what he is. All right. All right. So let's go ahead and go here on number 5. I have to admit, I have read these in the past, but I usually try to reread them the day I'm going to do them, and I didn't reread it the day I was going to do it. So we'll do probably just one again today because I have another class to get to. Reason number 5 is you worry about what other people think of you. And then in parentheses it says, don't we all? Interesting. It has to do with throwing food away. I've forgotten this one. Okay, so let's read it together. Some people will judge you for wasting food. Oh, there we go. But your eating behavior is none of anyone else's business. And keep in mind that you don't really know what anyone around you is thinking. Even a nasty side glance from someone could be about something completely unrelated that they are dealing with. We only assume that others are judging us because we're judging ourselves in the same exact way. You're not a bad person for wasting food. In fact, your guilt is proof that you care. So try your best to think ahead, but when it's not an option to avoid wasting food, let it go. Okay, so that's all it has to say today. I will say that I instantly had a gut attack when it said you're not a bad person for wasting food. In fact, your guilt is proof that you care. Because my guilt is not about, I think it's more about wasting. Let's just put it this way. I feel like, if I'm 100% honest with myself, that it's more about wasting money than it is about feeling guilty about people who don't have enough. Full disclosure. I would love to just come here and say, I mean, obviously the other part is part of it. The whole kids are starving in Africa, kids are starving in China mantra was drilled into my head my entire childhood and was always the reason why I had to always be um, eating everything on my plate and could not leave the table, even if it was an hour and a half later after everybody else had left the table, until I had eaten everything off my plate, which really goes into what we're going to talk about tomorrow. Maybe we'll just talk about it right now. Let's go ahead and jump into that. Is there anything in this else I want to say? Oh, also thinking about judging, that other people are judging you. Um, I guess that's something we can think about in life in general, right? Every time you think somebody's looking at you in some way, you could just be that you're self conscious about yourself because you're judging yourself. So if you feel uncomfortable doing something, if I feel uncomfortable throwing the food away and then I see somebody looking over at me, it could be like, oh, they're judging me. I don't want them to judge me. I guess. I don't, I would actually find it to be, I mean, I see that point of view. I see that reality. Personally, I would be so proud of myself if I could get myself ever to the point that I could leave food on the table when I wasn't hungry anymore. I just struggle with that. I eat everything on the plate. I mean, I'm one of those people who has to have a smaller plate with smaller portions because I always complete everything that's on the plate. And that kind of goes hand in hand with the fact that they say stop eating when you're not hungry. I am almost never hungry. And being on HCG is one of those things that helps me evaluate that because it's like eat when you're hungry. Either take the drops or eat when you're hungry. And I'm like, it's not really hunger that I have. And I've talked about this in the past too. It's a desire to eat. It's a desire to comfort myself. It's a desire to fill in that joy, which is relatable that we've been talking about recently. It's a way of finding pleasure and joy for myself, that I enjoy it. It's a comfort. It makes me happy. And when I'm craving one of those kind of emotions, and I know that there's food around, and then it's just gonna, that's what it is more for me. I, true hunger. I mean, true hunger would get yourself to the point that your stomach growls. I, I, I mean, I remember being in high school, my stomach growling a lot. And I don't know if that's just because your metabolism is so much quicker when you're younger. I mean, that could be it. I know I was also cognizant of trying to stay thin, so I probably didn't eat as much as I should have throughout the course of the day. In fact, I know I didn't. Um, and so I don't know how I had the mentality back then to let myself get to the point of actually letting my stomach growl. And now, even being on HCG and eating 500 calories a day, stomach doesn't growl. I mean, it shouldn't. It shouldn't. Because you're getting the nutrients you need from your fat sources in your body. Um, but yeah, I just almost want to challenge myself to get myself to the point of having my stomach growl so I can see if it still happens and get that sense of satisfaction of like, hey, now you need to eat. Now you're truly hungry. This is what hunger feels like. This is what, sit in this, feel this. This is when you need to eat. Not when you say I'm hungry, but really you just want to put food in your body. I have to also think of it as this, is that, is it true hunger? Is it not true hunger? When I want something to eat and I say I'm hungry, would I be willing to eat, just celery sticks? Or would I be happy if I got a little baggie of carrots? If the answer is yes, then I think I might actually be approaching hunger. I would say 99.8% of the time the answer is going to be no, I don't want that. There's got to be something else here in the pantry that'll quench that hunger. So, Yeah. Okay, we're not going on to the next topic, which is fine. We're going to talk about the Clean Plate Club and one other one, FOMO, fear of missing out. So we'll try to hit both of those tomorrow. I apologize for saying I was going to cover it, but I don't want to be late for my class, so I'm going to leave it at that. Any other topics you want me to cover, please let me know down below. Thank you when you comment and let me know that you appreciate my videos. I appreciate you. Make sure you like this video. And if you like it, eventually, someday, the more likes will get them starting to go into circulation so random other people can access them. And then if I start seeing a bunch of people watching them, I'll just keep going. Because as soon as I finish this round, I think I might be done doing videos. So we'll see. We'll see how it all goes. All right. You take care. Have a great day today. Happy dieting. And tell me about any successes that you have. Take care. Bye.